Hello everyone, and welcome to game number 2 in our best of 5 series between Pbhead and Roller, Blues and Zuzani. Pbhead and Roller taking game number 1 a little bit closer than most of the games we've seen before. 2 players getting bought out before the game actually managed to get finished. Both of these supporting headquarters getting taken down.
Again, I was about to say, look at this spot here, and you couldn't finish your intro before PB jumped on it.
Oh, Pbhead loves to get founded quickly. You can tell he just doesn't fear dead at all.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I think that's a good move. But I would have thought robotic here. I think he's very wedded to scientific, apparently.
He really loves being scientific. I've seen him squash combo tiles as scientific so many times before. It is just something he's committed to. He really loves being so black market resistance.
Yep.
And I have to say, whenever power surges are available in the game, which I think is pretty much almost always...
That's half, well, probably about 60% of the time.
Yeah. But whenever power surges are available, they can shut you down so easily if you're not scientific, and so I really do like the move if he's able to actually play it out each time. And you can see it's kind of paying off.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both already HQ level 2, claiming up all those geotherms as they always do.
But
and that's such a huge deal.
That sad aluminum iron tile being not put to use. I mean, if you had a robotic there, it would be boosting all the steel mills around it.
Yeah.
Not to be.
Oh, man. I'm trying to look. Are there any more geotherm tiles left available on this map? Because I'm not seeing any.
Yeah, Roller grabbed
I think Roller grabbed them all. And
that's what he did last game, too, right?
Yeah. And this is why I'm always interested in seeing... It makes some sense to have your support upgrade to level 2 first and get all that steel production down. But you really need for your expansive player, your primary, your lead player, to get to HQ2 quickly in a map like this, just so they can get a hold of those all-important geotherm tiles. I mean, there were 3 of them here, and Roller still grabbed them all.
Yeah, it was kind of almost too fast. Who did the first upgrade? Was it Roller?
Roller and Pbhead were very, very similar in how fast they upgraded after Roller actually got founded. I think it might have been Pbhead, but it was so close. Pbhead already at $66,000 of debt. I love this overload, by the way. I just want to point that out.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Just this whole... Look, Pbhead, he keeps pushing that line, and he keeps pushing more and more and more and more and more.
Yep, I like that too. He didn't goon squad his steel mills last time, and so he is vulnerable to this. I mean, each of these buildings are technically losing him money.
In debt, which he doesn't care about.
No, we'll see.
Now, what's going to be really interesting... Okay, there was a freeze anyway. There's a dust storm coming in 9 seconds. Even without a freeze onto these solar panels, they were not going to be getting all that much work done for Blues. Yep. And they're just mostly just letting that power market go on over to Roller again if he wants it.
Yeah, that geotherm is going to be made. Those geotherms are going to be amazing.
3 geotherms making 5 power a second in surplus right now. $500 a second. 200 per tile. It's just... They're so good! I don't even know how you come back from this. I'll be honest. I don't know how you pull it back from this. The geotherms are all spread out. You can't shut them all down at once. They don't rely on adjacency bonuses. They're cheap because the expansive player got them. It's a good dynamite for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But it feels so late. I mean, the money has already come to some degree.
He's already got his patent office up. But what's surprising to me is that he didn't go in that aluminum field in the south, because that's a lot closer to those geotherms. Like, it's remarkable that he got all those geotherms unchallenged, even though they were so far across from him on the map.
Yeah, that's almost a disrespectful move at that point, just saying we are going to shoot so far ahead of you. That we know we're going to pull this off. And I think this plays into why Pbhead's found so fast.
Yeah.
I mean, he found immediately.
Yeah, it's true. That's just the extra time to make sure they can both upgrade first. Yeah, I think you might be right.
And it is straight steel production when you found that scientific.
That's interesting. It's something that people don't know. There's a number of factors that go into deciding when you found, but just the actual time involved is not something that people really think about much.
Yeah, absolutely. But it is hugely important. That said... Oh man, Energy Vault on over to Pbhead. Well, that's interesting. He's never going to make power, so as long as he got that.
Well, I guess how much did you pay for it? 28,000.
He paid 28,000. I don't know if that's actually going to.
Yeah,
I don't know exactly what that's going to do for him, but It is an interesting little pickup. I love this little sign for this broken
well,
geothermal
if you just do the math, it's about 24,000 in energy. They say
yeah, but the energy price is going up the whole time, and it's just it's just.
Yeah.
But not as well now. It's on the way back down. So Roller keeping that price knocked down very effectively, it would seem.
Yeah.
Especially now that he's already in Superconductor. He hasn't started up virtual reality just yet, although he does have the Pleasure Dome down already in a position to get at least 3 adjacency bonuses, possibly more this game.
Yeah. Well, they're doing the exact same thing they did last game.
They're doing the exact same thing.
So Blues and Zuzani, they really need to start paying attention to what's going on here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's literally the exact same play, just even faster, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing to note is Pbhead is already down at $8.50 of debt, so I'm kind of wondering, did he push too far this time? Because there's always going to be a time. This is Pbhead's only weakness as a player, is he is so excited to get going.
Oh, another overload.
Another overload.
Love it.
But power's already
power's
down
died.
at $65 at this point. Roller and Pbhead are just starting to kill power as a factor.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, yeah, Pbhead has $7 stock price. It's nothing. It's actually nothing. But Blues and Zuzani have literally no cash. They're down at HQ level 3 and 2. Trying to make food to pull in some money is Zuzani, but it's so little. It's just nothing, whereas Roller's already sitting on $50,000.
Yeah, they got to upgrade. This is not good.
Heading into virtual reality, which is going to be fantastic in just a moment here. There's Blues finally pulling on into HQ level 3.
The Pleasure Dome is unprotected. I see that they just... Roller just bought a spy. Where did you put it? The other side should buy a spy. Drop it on that Pleasure Dome.
Absolutely. It does look like they're going to try and get their own Pleasure Dome up. That one will have at least 4 adjacency bonuses. Yeah, that's a really good spot based on how the colony has grown at this point. What is Carbon doing? All right, Pbhead and Roller holding on to a lot of it.
Yeah, I love that they didn't even think about giving Pbhead the Pleasure Dome. Just it's just survive, Pb. That stock price is scary.
Absolutely. All right. Auction for 6,000 for water engine on over to Pbhead.
Carbon just got frozen. They are definitely looking at some sort of carbon shortage.
Oh yeah, carbon shortage is coming through in about 39 seconds for Pbhead and Roller. Well, 2 carbon shortages. Once again, we've got this double hacker array going on. Might be something to look at in a team game. But
yeah,
they're just going to be aiming to do that standard play again. Roller, he's going to be sitting on about probably 75, well, maybe pushing $100,000 by the time these shortages start coming through.
Yeah.
And then that's just going to magnify those.
Yeah, carbon short. It's an interesting move considering the other side is making carbon, not them. So that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, they've just got so much of it bought up already. It might be just that they were too late to the game. Plus, they did go ahead and commit to freezing out Blue's carbon production to make sure he wouldn't be getting in the way and they wouldn't have to change their plans anytime soon.
Now they got a double chemical short coming through. Yeah.
Yep, no big surprise there. Just bouncing double shortages over and over and over again. I mean, just look at this money pour in. Roller's already at $170,000. I do love Pbhead's stock price, though.
Yeah, they could buy Pbhead.
Let's just watch this plummet. This is fun for me. Blues is going for it.
Yeah, I mean, why not? You might as well. That's your only chance.
I mean, he's got enough cash, it looks like, to make this happen. Blues is sitting on about 61,000. The problem is, Roller has so much cash that he can just buy Blues in response.
Oh man, this is...
And that's just... So Zuzani is starting to try and get into Pbhead instead. Unfortunately, Blues, I don't think he can maneuver fast enough to really stop all of this from falling apart.
You should just try selling his shares in PB.
Allowing Zuzani to take them up instead, potentially.
Basically.
All right,
I mean, if they can buy out PB fast enough, it won't matter.
There they go. They got it done. Zuzani did take it, and they got there before Roller bought Blues, and so that's a very, very, very big deal, actually.
Yeah.
Now, that's still 2 expansives against a robotic scientific player, which could be a bit awkward. And on top of that, Pbhead as a level 3 scientific player is very awkward to purchase because you're not going to get to abuse those scientific bonuses as effectively. as if he had set himself up as a level 5 HQ scientist. That said, he had used most of the good territory he had near him anyway, so it's probably not that big a deal. It is also worth noting Zuzani is level 5, whereas Roller is still stuck back on level 4. And I'm really curious to see if Roller's going to be able to pull this out alone and actually get Blue's bot, which costs $124,000. He's currently at 115 of that.
Yeah,
so
Blue's
very,
just
very
had,
close.
Yep, he's gone.
Nope,
if
there it
Blue's
is.
just had like one more of his own share, it would make a huge difference.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
like a new game again.
But we are looking pretty even once more. Roller does have those 2 Pleasure Domes available now. Both of them affected by a slowdown strike, but both with virtual reality. Still making plenty of cash.
That is rough. Zuzani's going to need to get at least one Pleasure Dome up somewhere. Anywhere, really. He's put next to his own headquarters, whatever.
Yeah, if he feels he has the extra tile, he could take that route. In particular, I think now we've got to be looking at what those off-world markets look like, and they are not super fantastic.
Yep.
Oxygen and food are both adequate, 440. Chemicals is, you know, potentially a thing at some point down the road. Water is actually pretty solid.
Yep. And we got a Pleasure Dome out from Zuzani, so that looks fine. And he has more territory than Roller. Roller has the patents, though.
Does he have more territory than Roller? It can't be by that much, though.
Well, yeah, he's level 5. Roller's level 4.
Yeah, but 2 expansives against robotic
Our
scientist.
hackers have compromised the trading servers.
That's my real big concern here, is late game, expansive is such a powerhouse. And Roller, he's got the power money coming in, which is adequate. Zuzani still has quite a bit of debt he'd have to pay down. 119,000 is what he's looking at this point. No Pleasure Domes, or no effective Pleasure Domes to really fight back. Just this one kind of weak little thing. He is trying to use the hacker ray, it looks like, to get something done somewhere.
Yep.
Well, it's not even active right now. But we'll just have to see what happens. Whereas Roller, it looks like he has a steel surplus going in.
What should he be hacking? Roller's not making any... I don't see any reactors.
Very interesting to note. Roller sitting on about almost $200,000. Zuzani on about $150,000 right now. This water price is going absolutely insane and heavily working in Roller's favor.
Why? Your new design for the colony layout is simply breathtaking. The other scientists will love the increased results.
Alright, sounds like we lost Soren for just a moment.
Network virus. Buy me and unleash me on your enemies.
But it does look like we've got Zuzani trying to upgrade Pbhead to go ahead and grab some water and make sure Roller can't completely shut him out of that market. But Roller, he can see this situation going on with water right now. Kind of a weak freeze happening on a high and medium water tile instead of targeting these better adjacency tiles. Definitely a bit of a concern. But I don't know how Zuzani effectively fights back from here. It looks like, once again, Roller has just kind of identified a strong market to be in, and he's felt confident enough that he can start pressing into his opponent. Now, there's still potentially quite a bit of room for mistakes here. Maybe Roller is moving a bit too fast instead of building up his lead a little bit better. It's hard to say. But Zuzani, it looks like he has had his cash reserves just wiped out by the surpluses going down. He just can't find a comfortable position to stay in. And on top of that, though, Zuzani has moved into an off-world market, which Roller can very, very easily see.
Our hackers have compromised the
And we'll just have to
servers.
see how they can fight this from here. Zuzani, I don't know if he ever identified that the appropriate play might have been to surplus water. Instead, he tried to move into water himself. He is making about 7 a second, which is not bad. But Roller, he's just going to grab up all that cash and immediately start flying into Zuzani's stock. Zuzani does not have a lot of time left to defend himself. And I have to question this off-world market's construction. It's almost completed, but he needed this money already, potentially put into stock. He needs this to be making him money instantaneously. Instead, we just have another water shortage coming out, it looks like. Maybe that's the same water shortage. These guys are playing with this price so much.
Stock is being bought.
It's ridiculous to try and keep track of. Roller has so much cash. He still has 160,000. That's easily enough to buy up the remainder of Zuzani's stock without any trouble whatsoever. Zuzani is going to get at most 5 at this point, and he hasn't even committed to that just yet. He's still stuck back on 3. Looks like he's trying to figure out other things he can accomplish. He's got food coming in. He's got some decent resources coming in. Water over here, he's chosen to scrap away. But with steel constantly getting surplus, he's still left in a very, very awkward position. Chems are just over here burning money. Everything's just a little awkward for him, and he can't quite seem to get it to line up the way he might need to. Really, really concerned if Zuzani doesn't get this 4th stock. A 7-3 split is just going to be way too hard to come back from, almost no matter what, I think. Alright. Mutiny coming down. Anybody want it? Nobody wants a mutiny for $7,000. Okay, Zuzani's going to bid the $7,000 for that mutiny, it looks like. This is more expensive, effectively, for Roller than Zuzani. Zuzani can commit debt. Roller has to commit cash, effectively, because he's currently sitting on no debt. He is just paying out of pocket for this potential extra mutiny. So Zuzani is going to take it for that 12,000 debt, which should work just fine for him in the long run. He should be able to find something to do with this mutiny. Immediately, it looks like throws it at a pleasure dome, which is definitely questionable to my mind. That's not going to make him a lot of money, but it might be the right decision. Roller hasn't committed to anything like an off-world market yet. He's mostly sitting back on these hacker arrays, trying to make them work, and so we will just have to see how everything pans out. Zuzani has managed to get 4 of his stocks secured. Roller, of course, has secured none of his own stock, as much of Zuzani's as possible, and Roller is sitting on basically no money at this point, but that's because he has committed, finally, to an off-world market. Not even halfway done just yet. Power is starting to look very, very interesting. One wonders, yeah, Zuzani is losing all kinds of debt money to power right now. He's almost certainly going to want to shore that up at some point just to make sure his opponent isn't making so much cash from that. Look at this. This is where Roller's money is going to start flying in. All of these solar panels down with superconductor along with these geotherms. He's pulling in $2,000 a second from power alone. Zuzani this whole time is just plummeting further and further and further into debt. I don't see where Zuzani's edge possibly is to finish up the game now that he's allowed this to happen. He had this off-world market advantage he could try and abuse. He's trying to work with electronics effectively and make those turn his way. Hitting his opponent's off-world market is a strong thing to do, but it feels like just with this power price alone, Roller's going to get to the point where he can overpower him if he manages to use those hacker arrays and off-world markets correctly. Now, I'm very concerned that Roller's hacker arrays are sitting idle for so long. There's no excuse for that when you have this ridiculous amount of money. It does look like he is focused more on knocking down his opponent's money than raising up his own. Just definitely something to be aware of. Zuzani's hacker array is also sitting idle. The off-world market is having to be repaired. I don't see how he easily pulls back into this sill. Let's see how much Roller is going to need to actually close out this game. 511,000. He's not using the hacker arrays to really boost that yet. He's still just focusing entirely on surpluses. And so I don't know if he's going to manage to... Oh, guys, both players are just worrying me at this point. Roller's not finding a strong source of cash to actually close out this game. He just keeps opening up holes for Zuzani to climb through, but Zuzani is struggling to actually pull that off. Now we can see an actual transition into engineering labs. Zuzani saying this game is still going to go on for quite some time, and I don't know if I agree with him. Roller is already... He's made a fair amount of progress toward purchasing, but he keeps throwing that money away. He doesn't want to go for the purchase just yet. So the engineering labs could work out well for Zuzani, with Roller choosing to make these transitions into additional off-world markets rather than go for the kill right away. He also has these engineering labs down that have been frozen out. And Zuzani, man, oh, you're back.
Yeah, why is he using slowdown strikes on those off-worlds?
I don't know.
Protected.
I couldn't tell you.
Well, actually, he knows one is vulnerable.
I mean, we did have a freeze over here near this off-world, but yeah, slowdown strikes definitely could be a useful tool here. Only costing about $10,000 right now.
Yeah, he has a spy. He could blow up that off-world market.
Whoa, Marsquake! This is a big deal for Zuzani. He needs to use this perfectly. Like does he have everything in a resource? It looks like he does. He has almost no cash on hand. This is a really, 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 really big deal.
Wow, that's a lot of food he's got.
That is so much food he's got. Roller is in food. but not much. He's only
Yeah.
making a very, very, very small amount of it.
There we go. The off-road goes down.
Good. It's good to keep knocking those off-worlds down. These food shortages are pretty much the way that Zuzani ends this game. It's part of why I didn't really like the engineering labs. I would have loved to see more of a commitment to just hacker arrays out of Zuzani to end this game fast when Roller tried to start pushing it long. He does have 700,000 in cash right now, though.
Look at all the money.
Why isn't he buying up Roller?
Okay, here he goes. He's
What
starting
else
to buy
did he get?
now. He wanted to wait as long as he thought he could in order
Hackers
to
have compromised the trading service.
keep turning his, sheer ridiculous amount of money into even more ridiculous amounts of money. But I'm
Roller's just
worried
doesn't
he
have
waited
cash.
too long. Roller got 4 of his own stock bought up, though. We're still
Yeah.
in... Oh, but Zuzani still has almost
Lot of money.
$400,000. Zuzani is halfway there,
Stock
effectively,
game
right
is
now.
even at this point. But Roller has 4
But Roller
off-roads?
has 4 off-worlds. Now, the off-worlds are only kind of adequate this game. You can see he's launching water right now. He's totally focused on those water launches
Yep.
for 23,000 apiece. He's also started, it looks like, to move into some carbon launches and has secured those for the future to make sure he doesn't forget about them. But Zuzani's just sitting on so much cash. If he can manage to use these hacker arrays correctly, I think Zuzani might be the one to clean this one up.
It's hard to call at this point.
It's very hard to call at this point. Stock prices are absolutely insane, but I'm kind of okay with it right now, and it's just ridiculous. I do love how we ended up in an even stock situation. After
Yeah,
all was
that's-
said and done, it's just debt separating these stock prices right now. Zuzani down in the B level
Yep.
with Roller at that triple A. And, a very, very, very small AAA at that. But still, that's a very nice thing for Zuzani in some ways because you can be very, very sure of what goal you need to reach. Your opponent's
he
stock
just-
price isn't going to move a
he just made
huge
it-
amount.
He made a huge buy into fuel.
Yep, this is what he has to do. He has to abuse his just raw cash advantage, which unfortunately for him has shrunk because of these off-world markets in particular. Roller has just about caught up to him in cash, and so I do think...
I do like the idea of
Roller's
shorting
getting close
the
here.
fuel, though. That is kind of brilliant, considering that Roller, of course, is launching fuel all the time.
All the time. It's very nice. I would have almost rather seen...
Wow, yeah. If you look at if you look at Roller's off-world tab, the best he has is 19,000.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a
Because of
good
that
launch.
fuel cost.
And that fuel cost is pretty ridiculous right now.
Yeah, that's a great move. I love that.
Off-world shipment launched.
Very, very silly.
All the money.
I still don't know if it's going to be enough for Zuzani, though. He's got 650, but Roller's already up at 700. And Roller, of course, his goal is nowhere near as far away. He's got the red button,
Ah,
and that is going to be the game.
that was a
Roller
good
does
game.
manage to clean it up on the back of the off-world markets. I really don't think I liked this engineering lab transition
Right.
out of Zuzani in particular. You see your opponents wanting to push for that late game and is going to give you that opening by going into so many off-world markets and upgrading to HQ level 5 and so on and so forth from there. When you're
Right.
already the one making electronics, especially, then just take it and run with it. Don't push for that long game. You're guaranteed to lose against an expansive player who
Game
has
player-
that virtual reality. Ugh.
Game Slayer Pbhead had water engine. I checked for that. Not Roller.
Yes, Pbhead had water engine, not Roller. That
Yeah.
was an important detail.
You definitely want to look for that because then in that case you want to be shorting water then, not fuel.
We didn't forget.
Or aluminum, I suppose.
We make mistakes, but we are pretty good at this most of the time.
Well, that's a very interesting game.
That was an interesting one.
I'm surprised. I'm impressed. Roller was able to get over the top there at the end because his revenue was definitely eaten into. But at the end of the day, he still had those pleasure domes. Those were still
The
cranking
pleasure
away.
domes were still there. I didn't even look at how much they made this game. Yeah,
$450.
$454,000. I mean, just as much as all of his off-worlds combined. It's no big deal.
Yeah, I really think that at this point, Zuzani should have built a second pleasure dome, even if it wasn't near the colony. Just because, when you got
I mean, he
when
already
you have
had
two
the one.
headquarters, you got extra claims. Well, he built one after the buyout.
Yeah. But it's just... Oh, it's so awkward having to build that many buildings that just do nothing for you, though. It may have been the right call, but man, it's a weird one to have to make. It is worth noting that those pleasure domes had a ridiculous number of adjacency
Right.
bonuses this game.
All right, I gotta step out for a second, so you should just go ahead and roll into the next one.
All right, I can do that.